2020 Great Film Throwback Day, we're going to be talking about a movie that I was actually very excited to watch. Not necessarily because of the movie itself, but just because of the iconic person who headlines this film. And that, of course, is the 1936 black and white silent movie, Modern Times, starring the iconic Charlie Chaplin, who also directed the film, wrote the film, scored the film, and Paulette Goddard, who actually was one of his wives in his life. So, Charlie Chaplin, even if you've never seen a movie that he is in, there is a very good chance that you have heard the name, and you may have even seen his face as his iconic character in silent films, The Tramp. Now, how did I first discover Charlie Chaplin? Well, the way that I discovered a lot of things that I am a fan of, Sesame Street. One that I remember the most distinctly was teaching kids about the word exit. So, of course, when I was younger, I had no idea who he was, but as time moved on, I learned who he was. And I always wondered, am I ever going to see a Charlie Chaplin film in my life? Because there was nothing that really interested me about it. But, you know, YouTube happened, the Great Film Throwback Project happened, and here we are reviewing his very last time that he ever starred in a film as the Tramp. And the boldest thing that he did for this movie was the fact that he also made it more of a silent film, considering the fact that we did already have talkies, because it was almost a decade after The Jazz Singer, which is a movie I did review as well. So this was my time. It was finally time for me to see Charlie Chaplin as his iconic character. And I gotta say, Modern Times is a really fun movie. I love the comedy, I love the story, the chemistry between the tramp and the girl that he finds who is homeless at the beginning, but then she actually starts to make a life for herself, is definitely very hopeful and heartwarming. And that's one of the few things that I was really curious about in regards to the character of the tramp. What was he exactly? Was he a mischief maker? Was he a pervert? Or was he actually a guy that was filled with heart? And I gotta say that the character really surprised me. This character starts off as a factory worker in a time when technology is really starting to overtake the modern workforce, and this is even at the time of the Great Depression, so you're really lucky to even have a job. And what can I say? The wackiness ensues. He ends up getting fired. He ends up having a nervous breakdown. He ends up going to jail. And then every single time he tries to get back on his feet, something drags him down that sends him back to jail until the very end of the film. And it's really just a real fun film to experience. And there is a very positive message about it, that even though the world keeps changing and we do have to adapt, the most important thing is that we have big dreams and we do everything that we can to achieve them. I really had a good time with this movie. Is it perfect? No, but it was just such a thrill and such a fulfilling feeling to finally see a Charlie Chaplin movie. I definitely will seriously think about looking into other films of his. I think another very famous one of his is The Great Dictator, and that's also a movie where he actually talks. And I'm even more interested now to see the 1992 biopic Chaplin, which stars Robert Downey Jr. playing Charlie Chaplin. And now that I've actually seen Charlie Chaplin in a movie, I'm very excited to see Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal of Charlie Chaplin. But I am just happy overall, even though I didn't think that the film was perfect. I mean, it's not a film that I'm going to want to see again, and it's not a movie that I'm going to want to own on DVD, but I'm just thrilled and just feeling so much better about myself because I'm just still striving to become the great film appreciator that I am. And now that I finally have seen a movie that Charlie Chaplin is in, and I can actually stand up tall and proud and say, I have seen a Charlie Chaplin movie, and hopefully by that time I will actually have seen more of them. I'm very proud to say that after doing this segment on my channel for so many years now, I have seen my share of silent films. Some of them do have some sound in it, but they are mostly silent. I think the one that is a truly silent film that I have seen is Metropolis, which was definitely a very interesting film, but I am just glad that I now have the ability to say loud and proud that I have seen a Charlie Chaplin movie and it really was a good watch. I am going to give Modern Times 3 stars out of 4. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please leave your comments in the box below, and let's discuss Modern Times, and I will see you in the next one. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you're new here and want to see more of what my channel has to offer, please click on the link to my last video, or hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of my uploads. Content of all sorts is posted here quite often, so trust me, you do not want to fall behind. I will see you in the comments, and actions speak louder than words.